Diego Cortez.
Adam Schoenfeld.
Welcome to The Scoop, brought to you by Full Tilt Poker. We had Daniel Alaei with us last week. He's back with us this week, and he's had many accomplishments the last few years to elaborate on. And if you missed part one, it is on Card Player TV. I mean, to that point, you've had a lot of success in tournaments, but you really are also a cash game player. You've been on high stakes poker, but even apart from that, unlike some tournament players who just kind of jump into the water in cash games, you've been a steady grinder in cash games for years. Are your games very different, other than relying on your basic skills? Because when you say that you're a loose player in tournaments, I mean, my impressions of you in cash games has been that you've been a more solid player there.
I think in cash games, you can't really make it if you're splashing around too much. You just can't. So you got to play more fundamentally sound.
Unless you're Tom DeWan.
Right. Yeah.
Is that tough for you? I mean, if you say that you struggle, or you're...
No. Actually, in the last couple of years, I haven't really played that much no limit. And in no limit, you could get away with it if you're just very good after the flop. But in the limit games, in the mixed games, stuff, you really got to be fundamentally. Mm-hmm. You can't splash around. I mean, you just can't.
Diego, you were going in order, but since Daniel brought up the limit games, and this year you had success in the Players Championship, are you a limit player or a no limit player, or how did you learn all those games?
Yeah,
I
literally was a no limit, pot limit.
Right, that's how I thought you also.
But you won 10K Omaha 8 bracelet and made the championship here, and certainly you played in the cash game. So how did you go about?
I literally learned how to play the stud games on PokerStars, playing 4,800 game. I just never played them. And I remember the first time I played stud live, I had already played it online quite a bit, so I was like, okay, I can do this. This is no problem. I was completely lost. I mean, I was trying to remember all the cards.
Right, online, all the cards are right in front of you.
Yeah, they come out all at the same time. So I didn't know whether to look at my cards first or to look at those cards first. I was completely lost. But I got the hang of it a little bit. I'm still not that good at it. It's still nothing. But the other games, like Omaha and Limit Hold'em, I had played. And, this year I didn't really play any no limit because I haven't really played any no limit in a while. I think the games have gotten tougher. They're just the other games I think are better.
Mm-hmm.
When we got to the final table of the 50K and we had to play no limit, I felt really out of practice.
Wow.
I hadn't played no limit in a while. I mean, I was okay, but I did feel out of practice. It definitely took some getting used to. And this whole World Series, I only played one no limit event outside of the main event.
So you were playing a lot of the 5 PMs and the bigger buy-in limit.
Interesting, because everything we were talking about before as far as math and psychology and so forth obviously applies a lot more to no limit Hold'em, pot limit Omaha, whereas in these games there's less room for creativity.
Yeah, definitely. I also really enjoy PLO. I mean, I like it a lot.
And for people who don't know, you also won a bracelet in the 10K PLO, so...
Yeah. That was nice. That was the last event, again, before the main event.
But your focus on the mixed games is more because those games right now may be better opportunities.
That's just where the action is, so I was kind of forced to learn it.
So when the World Series is now, unfortunately it's over, what's your typical poker work schedule? Do you plan it out?
No, I don't plan it out. Whenever I do plan it out, I change it. So I kind of just see how I'm feeling. I mean, I plan on going to some of these tournaments in Europe later this year, but I'll probably just make a decision when it comes closer. I really want to just go home and relax for a bit, maybe go vacation somewhere.
I think that's a very common sentiment at this point.
I'm so burnt out and exhausted. Just
one thing I read that was interesting is that a lot of players, when they first kind of develop into professional poker players or start to just focus completely on the game, have to kind of explain to their parents what they're doing and how their skill and so forth. But I read where kind of your initiation really was playing like heads up against your father.
Oh yeah,
and that he was really encouraging you in this direction.
He's always been very supportive. I remember we used to just play heads up, no limit for hours and hours and hours.
How old were you at that point?
I was like 18, and we just played like almost every day. We just played for hours.
Was your dad pretty tough?
Yeah, he's a really tough no limit. He's actually definitely beat me more times than I beat him, and heads up no limit. I mean, we've probably played, a few hundred matches, and he's gotten the best of me for sure.
That's great.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean,
so was he actively encouraging you to pursue this as a profession, as a career?
He's always gave me a lot of, both my parents, a lot of freedom to make my own decisions ever since I was a kid. I was always very independent, and they just trusted me, and so they were always very supportive of what the decisions I made.
So now you have 3 bracelets. Is that something that you are concerned with in terms of history? Do you want to catch up to Phil Hellmuth? Do you have bracelet bets with some of your other peers?
I had some bracelet bets. As far as catching up to Phil Hellmuth, I don't really think about that. I like winning bracelets. I'd like to win some more. I'll probably have more bracelet bets every year just to add some extra motivation. But just I like winning them. I mean, it's nice to have it. It is kind of like there is a sense of accomplishment that comes with winning a tournament, even if it doesn't matter the size of the tournament. Just winning it feels.
There's a certain premium that the victory has that's beyond just the money.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know about that, but I just imagine.
Yeah, no, there definitely is. So, that's why I enjoy tournaments, and the World Series usually motivates me. I find it's tough for me to play tournaments outside of the World Series. I just don't really find the motivation, and a lot of times I'm lazy or I just skip them or I don't really play my hardest. But at the World Series, it's fun. It's fun playing every day seeing your friends all over, playing different games every day.
I always had the impression, I guess, that you were over in Bobby's room or in Californian casinos playing high stakes live. But is that something that's passed and where you're playing more?
No, I still play. When I'm home, I don't really play that much live. I play more online.
Well, that's what I mean. Or have you switched over to where you're online more?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm online more. During the World Series, I played some in Bobby's room and some live cash, but I definitely am more online.
With when you get so many hands, and you have to
there
deal
really
with people.
aren't that many games.
Yeah.
Outside when there's no tournaments around, the live games are pretty dead. So, and the online games are there's so many of them.
Right.
That's where all the action is. So
one of the many reasons why we love online also.
Yeah.
Or these days. Daniel, it's been a pleasure, and we appreciate you coming by.
Congratulations on your great success.
You've had, like I said at the beginning, I mean, I really think that while you're very respected in poker, if you ask people to name people who'd won over $5 million in tournaments, they're just not thinking of you right off the bat. And they should because well, they should because you've done it in these last couple of years when the fields are so much bigger, poker's that much more competitive.
And you have the potential to win a lot more, which is cool.
Yeah. And you've done it in a variety of games, so it's a tremendous accomplishment that I'm sure more and more people begin to recognize, but you've managed to stay somewhat under the radar, which might be a good thing or a bad thing. But thanks for joining us.
All right.
Thanks for joining us on The Scoop, brought to you by Full Tilt Poker.